Come and jump in the ride, hop on the bus. We gon' slide, be outside when we pick you up. Take you to a place where you can open up your mind. Say what you gotta say, and nobody blinks an eye. You on the long bus, with short thoughts, long bus, with short thoughts, long bus, with short thoughts. You on the long bus, with short thoughts, long bus, with short thoughts, long bus, with short thoughts. At the bus stop and whatnot with some blunts in my lunchbox. Enough stock to last the whole show. Got a whole packed road. The place about to go, better keep your glass cold. Now jump in, meet my other friends. Big respect, gotta show love to them. You wouldn't believe who the bumping in. Why you looking like that? You coming in? Anyway, this is Matt, that's Steve. What a rich dandy. There's Jason, there's Robin, that's the other Steve. This the whole damn team, the whole stampede. Welcome to the show. Go ahead and speak. Make yourself at home. Here, take a seat. Let your mind free. Hit a little tree. Take a little drink. Whatever you need. Whatever you need. Jump in the ride. Hop on the bus. We gon' slide. Be outside when we pick you up. Take you to a place where you can open up your...
How we doing, fellas? Welcome to show 48.
Damn.
Yeah, getting up there. So let's
get a damn.
get the. There's a button for that. Oh, see, the sound's all the way down. Someday I will get good at this. One day. Here we go.
Damn.
So let's get the business out of the way here. Like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment.
Sure.
I'd like to thank our sponsor, Habits Glass and Goodies. 3 locations here in Omaha, one on 101st and Maple, one on 84th and J, and one over in the Florence neighborhood off North 30th. We got something special for you today. We've got a friend, Kyle Ross, in here. So we have a story of loss that led to some drugs and a little more loss, and eventually became a story of recovery and getting the life back, and now really taking control of everything you want to. So
Absolutely.
we're welcome, Kyle, and yeah, we're gonna give you the applause. There it is. Didn't know you had a fan section, did
I
you?
had no idea. I did. That's pretty nice. Thanks for having me.
Start that
Yeah.
fans only up.
Yeah,
real quick.
right.
So
fans only instead of only fans. Though.
So we're gonna. I guess it's how long have we? I guess when did you have the loss of your daughter?
It was my son.
Son,
My son,
okay.
Yeah. My son. It was 2011.
Okay.
Actually, we'll go back like kind of January 2011. He woke up from a nap and he had a lump in his neck. Just a noticeable kind of lump in his neck. And he was 2 years old at the time, so not old enough to say, "Hey, this hurts" or whatever, So we took him to his normal pediatrician or whatever, and they were like, "Oh, it's probably just a swollen lymph node or something along those lines." Put him on an antibiotic, send him home. We did that kind of for, I believe it was a month or so. Me and my ex-wife had just had a divorce at this time, just before this happened. So we're living in 2 different places, and so I'm kind of in and out a little bit. And so they treated it as like a swollen lymph node or whatever for a couple months. And then one day he wasn't able to swallow anymore. Like he would take a drink and it would choke him. So back to the doctor again. And this time they're like, "Oh, well, this might be something different. Let's get him down to Children's Hospital." And from there, that's when everything started to fall apart, really, I guess is the best way to explain it. It's cancer, it's some super rare, it's called rhabdoid sarcoma is what it was called. Very, very rare type of cancer. And they didn't really know how to treat it even. They had really no way to deal with it. They'd never dealt with it before. So they did the chemo and the radiation and all that, and things were going pretty well, actually. They did a surgery, obviously, removed the tumor. It was actually wrapped around the artery in his neck, in his throat there. So when they removed the tumor, they had to cut the artery, remove the tumor, which caused him to have a little bit of a stroke, which in a small child like that is really, not a big deal a lot of the times because they're still growing so much that they just it doesn't affect their body like it does older people.
Yeah.
So after a few months of that, he's up running around, obviously he was still doing the chemo and all that, but, he's kind of getting his life back, running around, being a normal little kid. And then one day it just all came back. And we took him in again, and it had spread out his whole body. And they told us to just take him home and love him. And then we lost him Halloween night 2011.
It's terrible. It's rough. My kid had E. coli earlier this year, and just not knowing what's going on, and just a day in the hospital and all this, man, it was like I was a nervous wreck and falling apart. So I can't even imagine what going through that with your child was like, and then to be told, go home and just love him.
Yeah,
That's rough. Yeah, that's
it was. I mean, now like at the time, yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it was just something you can't even wrap your head around. You know what I mean? You're just like, this is some kind of a nightmare. There's no way this is real. When am I going to wake up and this is going to be over? And then I don't know. It's just crazy. I look back at it now, and it's just kind of like a big blur.
Yeah.
There was so much going on at that time, and
Well, you can't hardly see past the what's going on
just
right then.
right then,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
nothing else mattered. I mean,
Nothing at all. Yeah, nothing at all. So yeah, going along with that, I didn't care about anything. I wouldn't get my mail for months on time. I would just let it pile up. I just didn't care.
Yeah.
So, but at the same token, though, I didn't really take any time to grieve. You know what I mean? I had a business that I just started, a construction company. We were siding houses. We were super busy. Big housing boom was going on at that time. I mean, we were just busy, busy, busy. So I just took all my energy and just put it into my business, and just worked. And I was doing very well for a long time. And then I would say, I'm not trying to jump ahead of anything, but maybe around, I'd say 2015, 2016 is when I started to overindulge, I guess, So drinking a lot more than I used to, and then it kind of started, hanging out with my buddies at the bar. Hey, let's get a little Coke, and then that just became, every weekend type of deal. And then all of a sudden I'm buying some on Monday morning just so I can get to work. It took a few years for that to set in. I think I took all my energy, put it into my business, and never took that time to grieve or kind of try to help my, get better about what happened.
Yeah. That's having the time to grieve and actually going through it is important. Look, man, I lost my dog on Christmas Eve, and I still haven't grieved it right, and I know it's fucking with me.
Yeah.
For like the last month, really since we lost him, I've been in a funk myself, and it's I haven't dealt with it right, and I know I haven't dealt with it right. I've said it to my wife even, like I know she's been upset and crying, and she's dealing with it probably as I should be, but I haven't. Yeah, I'm still working on that.
But as a man, if you have a family, it's your job to be the pillar.
Well, we were taught to you don't get a cry, and
Absolutely.
you got to suck it up and be that person,
You have to be concrete.
Yeah, and of course I tell my kids, we can talk about it, and you can cry, and it's okay, but I still can't do that myself.
Right.
So
It's in our heads. We can't. We're not allowed to.
yeah, and
We're not allowed
I am working on that for myself. It's because I do know that I don't deal with it well. When we lost Neil Steno not long ago, I still haven't dealt with that properly.
Yeah. I used to work with Neil too.
Yeah. So it's dealing with that is something that people need to work on. I'm working on it myself
Absolutely.
because it can lead to when you're drinking it it can add to those drinks. And
I didn't really realize that was the stem of the problem either until later on. I checked myself into drug rehab. October 2018 was the first time I went in. But after I got in there and I started talking to some of them counselors and stuff, they're like, listen, like you never grieved what happened to you back in 2011, between the divorce and the losing my child and all this other stuff. You never even dealt with it at all. And I'm like, holy crap, like you guys are right. Like it's you know, I mean, I like to drink and get high, you know, whatever, but the overindulging is what,
Yeah.
you know,
It's the masking of the
the
pain.
masking of the pain, and I didn't even realize it. You know?
Yeah.
It took me talking to some actual professional people that deal with addiction before I realized that actually was the problem.
Yeah, and obviously, you're saying kind of in a this was my first time.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been a couple
Oh, yeah.
times.
Oh yeah, for sure.
As I'm sure you're not the only one. I have friends myself
Yeah.
that it's not ever been a one time.
No,
Right.
no. They say the success rate of a 30-day, you know, inpatient rehab is about 5%. You know, and yeah, that first one, I went there voluntarily. I got myself in a little trouble and got a DUI, and my state accounted attorney was like, "Hey, you know, you check yourself into rehab, might save you from going to jail." Oh, all right, you know, let's do that, you know. And heck, I went and did my little 30 days and went to court or whatever. You know, they postponed my court date, so I go to rehab or whatever. Got out, went to court. Judge gave me 45 days anyway. So,
Oh shit!
but you know, hey, it's part of the deal.
It could have been more. If
It
you
could have
had
been more.
I
It
mean,
could have been more.
Yeah,
It could have been 90 days.
It definitely could
or
have.
6 months in the county. That would
Yeah,
suck.
oh, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
you
But
know, but at that point, you weren't really ready. You were more getting through the process than trying to.
I was doing it to
Recover.
try to keep my butt out of jail.
Yeah,
is what I
right.
was doing.
Well, you
Yeah,
gotta keep
yeah.
your business going and stuff.
Well, yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
that too. Yeah. At that point, the business had kind of died off. But I shouldn't say died off. I should say I murdered my company by my own actions, really, more than anything.
You know, I have to say that I have to give you a level of respect that I don't give many people, because you're sitting here, you're telling the story, but you're also accepting full responsibility,
100%.
and it's hard for me to do that.
That's a huge part of my recovery, is not blaming others for my actions.
Right.
You know, and forgiveness, not holding grudges, you know, things like that.
Well, the
What?
things that are going to poison your thought
Things-
process.
Exactly.
They say,
Yeah.
you know, shame, guilt, and anger fuel addiction. If you can let go of that guilt, shame, anger, resentments, that will catapult you in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I can
because
see-
that the resentments and all that stuff, that's just all negativity.
Just trash,
You
huh?
know, it's just so bad for your mind and your, you know, trying to move into the right direction. You holding on to stuff like that, it's never going to happen.
Yeah. We kind of had a conversation pre-show, and I told you I had been hanging on to a lot of
Yeah.
anger and things like that. That, you know, I found a way to work on, you know, and it letting go of the anger and everyday rages and
Yeah.
things like that, and looking for the positive in a day
Yeah.
instead of focusing on all the little negatives. And it has made a difference on my everyday.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
when you're in that, I don't want to get up and I don't want to do anything. It
Right.
just snowballs into more doing nothing and more dark.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, and then you know, you start doing things to mask those feelings, and that's when it really takes a turn for the worst.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Trying to mask. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. The way you're feeling, the way you're thinking.
Yeah, just letting go of that anger and that resentment is huge. I mean, that's the best thing you can do for yourself mentally, and not in just even recovery, in anything. You know.
Yeah.
All facts of life.
Yeah. And I see. Are you getting back into riding dirt bikes a little bit?
Back into riding dirt bikes, man.
Yeah.
Back into riding
That's
dirt
awesome.
bikes. I love it.
I wish you could see the smile that
took
gives
10
you.
years off, man. I took 10 years off, man. And getting back and racing again is just, I'm like a little kid again. You know, I love it, man. Travel all over the place and racing my dirt bike. That's what life's about.
Yeah. And how old are you?
I'll be 42 in April.
Okay, so you're just a couple years younger
Yeah.
than me.
Yeah.
And right around the I don't know how you're doing it at 42, but I hurt myself getting in the truck somewhere.
I do it a little slower than I used to, but man, I'm just out there having fun, man. I'm
Yeah.
living life again. You know, 3-4 years ago, I never thought I'd I'd ever even own a dirt bike, let alone being able to race and ride it.
Yeah.
So,
And it's been 5 years you've been sober now, is that?
4 years.
4 years,
I just
okay.
had my 4 years. Yeah.
Okay. I knew I
Congratulations.
remember
Yeah,
seeing.
Thank you.
Remembered seeing.
5 years alcohol, 4 years drug free.
Hey, there it
you know.
is. There it is. Well, dude, 5 years without a drink is
that's
pretty.
that's
pretty
big.
amazing.
Yeah, it's man, I got buddies. Oh, you could have a beer or this or that. Like, no, man,
you can't.
I can't have
Yeah.
one beer. I've never had one beer in my life.
One
you know what
beer
I mean?
leads to 5 cocaines.
Oh, exactly. And then a couple year prison sentence. Yeah, I know I have absolutely no self control.
But and it's good to know that about
Yeah.
like yourself. And I had done a couple of hard drugs once
Yeah.
or twice and was like, this isn't for me. I can see that it
Yeah.
could grab a hold of you for sure. And I don't know. I had roommates when I was younger that one of them had dabbled in the meth a bit,
Mhm.
and watching that for a couple of years and like seeing what it does, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. Like,
I nobody ever plans on being an addict or
Yeah.
or doing things like that. It's just something that happens.
yeah. Well, I mean, most of us grew up running the streets and being assholes. And
Absolutely.
so it started as fun and
Yeah.
turned into a problem. And
Yeah.
I was always the one that kind of sat back and watched everybody have fun
Mhm.
before I decided I was going to do anything.
Yeah. let them test it out.
Yeah, I'm going to see how this goes for a bit.
I seen too much shit as a kid, bro.
Yeah.
I seen heroin overdose in my own fucking living room
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
Second one when I was 10.
Terrible.
It's just like in the 70s, they didn't give a fuck,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, Danny was around in the 70s.
I'm old as fuck.
Yeah, I just, we were kind of talking about a little before the show also, man. This stuff is happening right here in our own backyard,
Yeah.
man. The list of people I went to high school with that are no longer around because of drugs is way longer than it should be,
It's longer
I mean-
than the friends that are still here, huh?
I mean, it's getting there, and it's not like we grew up in the hood. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're out here in the suburbs. We grew up in Ralston, Millard areas. And it's just an absolute tragedy the way that the drugs is tearing these families apart.
Yeah, well, I mean, even not just the kids, even some of the the moms are.
Oh yeah,
Right.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
the pills and
yeah,
things like that.
absolutely,
That just
It's the soccer mom drugs. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
it's wild.
well, and we've talked before. Medications, doctors over medicating,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
just
That's how it starts.
I really don't think doctors know shit, honestly.
No. They're right.
Because after this last night, this is the best I could. Okay, dude, you can't put nothing else over it.
Yeah.
super glue it.
Yeah.
Then it just looked
I
like
realized
you
I
did
got in a fight with a table saw and I lost, but come on.
Yeah, no, when it comes to the mental health and things like that, doctors are just throwing something at the wall.
They are.
Yeah,
They
they really
They
are.
are.
They're just writing those prescriptions and collecting a paycheck. Man, they don't give a shit about.
They act
you
like
in
they
the
get a
long
cut
run.
of those prescriptions.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
me give you this and let me give you this.
Right.
So yeah, finding the right help. I used to go see a counselor, but again, I was also going there like, yeah, let me get that medicine and tell you what
Right.
you got to tell, so I can go home and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's that's where I've turned to my buddies for help. That's
Yeah.
why we sit in this room now, because they're gonna tell me, they're gonna call me on my bullshit.
Absolutely.
That's how this has become therapy.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
I don't have to pay anybody.
Right.
Cool.
Right. Both of us spend a lot of money on that shit.
Yeah. I'm kind of in a unique situation too at my job. I work with a lot of work release guys. A lot of the people that I'm a supervisor, and a lot of my employees are work release guys. It's how I got the job. But I'm almost like a part-time counselor, part-time boss to these guys,
Right.
because they're within a year of getting out, and a lot of those guys don't have much to get out to, you know what I mean? And they're in the work release program where they can get some money in their pocket, they can get some work history, and those guys, have it pretty tough, man, because they're in a situation where they have to go back to prison every night, but they're
Mhm.
also around all of these other people that are on the streets.
Influences.
Influences. The success rate coming out of that program is about 50%,
Yeah.
because they're just, you have to really want it. I mean, they're going to give you all the rope
All
they
those,
can to hang yourself.
all
with.
those other people are poison, man.
Absolutely.
They really are.
Yeah.
I've been in that situation, so I know.
Yeah, and I just tell I try to I tell them, but I try to show them also. Like, look, man, I don't have it all figured out by any means, but I was in your same exact shoes a couple years ago, and I'm out and I'm doing good. I'm doing
Right.
all right.
You have
Yeah.
to want
You know,
to do all
you
right.
have to want it. If you don't want it, it's never
not
going to
gonna
happen. You can't do it for your kids. You can't do it for the courts. You can't do it for your spouse. Nobody. You have to do it for yourself.
Well, I mean, that's what goes with a lot of things. I mean, you have to be,
Yeah.
kind of have to put yourself first. I mean, it's when you're in the airplane and it's going down, you got to put your mask on before you help anybody else.
Yeah. Oh, it's just, like these people, oh, I got my kids taken away or this and that. I have to get sober for them. That may work for a little while,
Yeah.
but once you get the kids back or whatever happens, most likely you're just going to fall back into that same cycle.
If you can't care for yourself, you can't care for anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to love yourself before you can ever think about loving somebody else.
So, what are you doing for work now?
I'm a supervisor at a construction place. We build a prefabricated walls and stuff like
Okay.
that. So
Nice.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I got the job through the work release program.
Nice.
So I got in there
You're
and
still there.
Yeah,
That's must be a decent job.
it's cool, man, and I like what I do. I've been in construction my whole life, and the thing I hated about it was having to work outside.
Now you
So
don't have to.
Now I'm doing the same exact thing I've done my whole life, and I'm inside.
That's what's up.
Nice.
Yeah,
And,
Hell yeah.
and you
I get a
kind of,
401k and paid vacation and all this other stuff I've never had before. So it's all right, man. It's all right.
There you go.
well, and it's nice that you kind of get to be the example for the people that are on work release and saying, look, I've been here this long too, and
Yeah.
I've got all these things,
Right.
and I've got my own place, and
That is one of the big reasons why I stay there, man. Is to be able to try to help some of those guys out, man.
Some
That's
of it's
very
kinda-
rewarding
You can-
for me.
You can genuinely, I can tell that you're genuine when you say that.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
It's you can see it.
Yeah, all those guys, man. We were like a family, So it's cool. I think they can respect me a lot more than just some Joe Schmo that's
Well,
not been in.
they've
their
been in your
shoes.
situation.
Yeah.
I've been exactly where they are. I know exactly how it feels.
well, that's like me. Like, yeah, I know how it feels to try to get sober when it's like not ever really been like I have, like.
Right.
So yeah,
It's another thing I wanted to kind of touch on is there's no way I was going to get sober on my own. Like, there's no possible way. I mean, there was one day within a 12-hour time period, I had a DUI. I fell off of a fence I was trying to jump over and broke my arm. And then I was still sitting at the bar at like noon, and my mom and my dad and two of my sisters show up, drag me out in the parking lot, and have an intervention with me while I'm standing there with a broken arm and fresh out of jail on a DUI.
Oh shit.
And I told them all to go away and that I was going back in the bar.
Wow.
So what kind of sense does that make? That's an addict
So
right there.
your whole family showed up.
My whole family showed up at a bar
And
down
you told
in
them to kick
Midtown. I
rocks.
told them to get the hell out of there, that I was going back inside and drinking more. While my arm is dangling because I fell off a fence trying to walk to the bar.
oh shit,
After I got a DUI.
that's dedication.
Yeah. So if that doesn't tell you I wasn't going to get sober for anything, then that's what it is. So, going to prison and having to do that saved my life. You hear that all the time. Prison saved my life, but there's no way I was going to get sober any other way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're glad you're here, and
Yeah,
Definitely,
I'm glad
definitely.
I'm here, man. I'm glad I'm here.
I love that you're actually enjoying life again and getting back
Man,
on the
it
dirt
is.
bike, and
I had a whole lot of fun out there running the streets, but I'm having so much more fun now that I'm sober.
you don't have to worry about the dumb street
I
shit.
don't have to. I can go past the cop on the highway, and I don't even look in my rearview mirror.
There
Yeah,
you go.
That's the best part.
yeah.
Another thing, really the best part was getting trust back. When I growing up my whole life and before I became an addict, I was always a man of my word. know, if I said I was going to be somewhere, I was going to be there.
Right.
If I said I was going to do something, I did it. As soon as I became an addict, that's all out the window.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just.
But you're not. When you're an addict, you're not yourself.
No, I was just a piece of shit, man, and I ruined all the trust in my entire life. Friends, family. I mean, my family let me be homeless and live in a Kia Forte for a year. Just, you know, they didn't want anything to do with me. I mean, they gave me a Kia Forte to live in. I guess I couldn't complain too much, but you know, they didn't. You're not coming to my house. You know what I mean? So that really, you know, when I was sobering up and sitting there doing my time, that was the things that ate away at me. You know, was that trust I ruined with my friends and my family. I get out, you know, and they're, you know, hey, you can come live with us, you know, and it just getting the trust back. You know, that was huge to me.
Right.
You know, and now when I say something, I'm going to do it. And if I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. If I say I'm going to be there, I'll be there.
Yeah, you know, you were the first show I had to like postpone because, you know, and I was like, oh man, this is. Hopefully he doesn't think this is how it is.
Right.
No, man, it's all good. Man. It's all good.
Well, we're glad we got to do the makeup, and I really appreciate you coming in here, and you know,
Absolutely.
hopefully we can inspire some hope, and because it's Omaha's, you know, we've all lost too many friends to drugs.
Yeah, there's not a person in this town that doesn't know somebody that struggled with alcohol or drug addiction in some way or another, if not even way worse. You know, losing family members, losing children, losing parents to drugs and alcohol is just completely unneeded and unnecessary.
No, we have a ton of mutual friends.
Yeah, a ton.
And there are families have been rocked,
destroyed, man. It's a tragedy. So I hope if, you know, anybody's out here listening to this and they're still out there struggling, you know, talk to somebody. That's a big thing. That's the first thing, you know, just talk to somebody. It doesn't have to be somebody that's sober. It doesn't have to be anybody really. Just, you know, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling bad, talk to somebody.
Right.
Anybody.
Yeah, we try to push that ourselves.
If you think you have that buddy that's home struggling quietly, try to give them a call,
too.
shoot them a text.
Don't ever overlook someone.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's so easy to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. No,
I've overlooked myself.
Mhm.
there's a lot of days that I text people and they, you know, like, man, I really needed that.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you just don't know what you're really doing. Just saying, hey, bro, love you.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And the problem is though, like, I can say I love you. Okay, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Some of these people watching this, they're like, "Oh, that's gay shit."
Yeah.
Dude, that's that man right there.
That's
if
right.
it wasn't for that man right there, I would not be here.
We can call
Twice. I would not be here.
Yeah.
2 different times.
You can call it gay fight me.
Exactly, man.
So yeah, I mean, are you gonna get into riding competitively at all? Or
Oh yeah. I raced a series last year in Minnesota. I did really good up there, so that's really cool. So I'm doing a senior series this year.
I was getting ready to
with a bunch
ask.
of old guys. Yeah. I'm doing a senior series this year with a bunch of old guys, and it's all over the Midwest. There's 2 races in Illinois, 1 in Michigan, 1 in Wisconsin, and 1 in Minnesota. So it'll be a fun summer, man.
would you say that's what you do? You know, for your event, for your fun now, or
Absolutely, yeah. My life basically revolves around dirt bikes again.
yeah, you do all the wrenching yourself.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I tear a bike completely down to the frame and then grease it and
So
clean it
that's
and put it
fun.
all back together.
I actually went to that MMI in Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
Graduated there, so I did love, and you know, if I had a garage, I probably still would be
Oh,
working
absolutely.
on bikes. But
Actually, I'm pretty sure that's how me and you got introduced to each other. Huh? I bought a '68 Cutlass from you.
yeah, I tell a lot of people about that car, and they're like, "No, you didn't."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I did. You had a badass sugar glider."
Yeah, I did, man. Yeah, I had some flying squirrels back then, man. Them were the days, man. They were the days,
Life was so much different.
man, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I don't know if I would go back though. There's a lot of sleepless nights, and
Oh yeah.
Right.
you know, watching my back then too.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't change any of it, man. We had a lot of fun growing up,
Yeah.
man.
Well, I don't know that I would change it. I just don't know that I would go back.
Right, yeah. No. We don't need to do all that again.
Right.
We had so much fun as teenagers, man. Well, you got to think it was before there was a camera everywhere.
Mhm.
You know, nobody had a camera in their hand at all times.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, we all
We
did
got,
something.
we got away with a lot more.
We
than that.
had a lot of fun.
There was a
man.
Halloween when I was like 16, 17 that we went out and took pumpkins. You know, we didn't smash them. We loaded up my whole Caprice, trunk,
Yeah.
backseat, everything. And then like went to a parking lot and laid them all out and then just like plowed them over with the Caprice.
ran
You know, just
into 'em.
dumb,
Yeah.
random shit.
Yeah.
Like, why?
We just had a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
The early 2000s was a great time.
Well, now they'd have you on every door camera
Oh, yeah.
and in the parking
Yeah.
lot of the store.
Yeah. For sure.
That's, you know, that is one thing my kids are going to have to always, you know, kind of pay attention to is they got to worry about cameras. That's something.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Well, shit, I got 3 on the outside of my house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, just the access, you know, boom, you're on camera. You know.
Yep,
Like,
that
man,
quick and easy.
Yeah, if it was like that back then, we'd have been in deep shit.
Yeah. I definitely wouldn't be getting. I would have never left prison.
yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know, man. What else you got going in life?
Man, I really, you know, it's to live the way I'm living. I don't do much, man. I work, I sleep, I ride dirt bikes.
Does that make you happy?
I live.
You look really fucking happy right
I love
now,
every
bro.
minute of it, man.
You look really happy. I wish I
love
could be
every
that
minute.
happy. I'm
I
jealous.
love every minute
I'm
of it,
fucking
man.
jealous. man.
After living the way I lived for those years, man, just being alive, being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it is just amazing to me. I'm very grateful, very, very grateful for what I have and where I'm at in life.
That's awesome.
Do you know roughly, I mean, how many times did you start at day one again?
You mean like try to get sober
Yeah.
and relapse and all that? Hundreds, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those you kind of wake up the next day and go, today's the day, and it might not
yeah.
Or you
I mean,
go to sleep.
There was, you know, like shortly before I got my DUI and all that, I was going to AA, like voluntarily on my own. Like I knew I had a problem. Like
Yeah.
for sure I had a problem. But most of that was my dealer didn't get up till noon, and the AA meeting was at 10, and he was on his way to his part of the neighborhood. So I figured I'd waste an hour getting my life right before I went and destroyed it some more. You know.
Get that morning coffee. huh?
Yeah. Get a little reprieve before I go do it all over again.
You know,
I
and
think,
that's- That's how you know it really has a hold of you. When
Yeah.
you're in the morning,
Yeah.
you're trying to do the right thing,
Try-
and then in the afternoon, you're like, fuck.
It was like that almost every day. I did that for a long time, man. So I knew I had a problem. I just wasn't ready.
Like right out of high school, I had access to hydrocodones
Mhm.
and took them for weeks, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like this sucks. I just feel like shit all the
Yeah.
time. And like, I decided I was going to stop and went through withdrawal.
Yeah.
And like to this day, I gag taking ibuprofen in the morning. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of got, I don't know if you call it lucky, but I never got into the pill thing or the opiate thing. You know, I'm very grateful I never did, because with my addictive personality, I'm sure I'd be 6 feet under by now.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
sure. If a little is good as a lot is better for me. So it was. I'm very, very grateful I never got into the pill and opiate stuff. So
yeah,
very lucky.
you were more of an upper dude.
Way more of an upper guy. Yeah. And the weird thing about that is, I dabbled with it a little bit, like high school age, and then I didn't touch any sort of hard drugs for about 20 years. And I was about 2014 or so, when I started letting my past catch up with me, that's when I got into the hard drugs. Yeah, and I hadn't done coke or meth or anything like that in 20 years. All of a sudden, I'm taking anything I get my hands on.
Yeah.
Weird.
You still dealing with the grief at all, or?
Not nearly as bad as it was. You know what I mean? Now that I
Yeah.
talk about it, and
Yeah.
I,
Right.
can, I'm all right. I'm at peace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that has a big thing to do with it. I was mad at everybody. I was mad at myself. I was mad at God even for doing that, or giving that to my son,
Yeah.
or taking my son away from me. Mad at his mother for who knows what. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just mad. Once I let go of that anger, just everything started to get better.
You always think about, man, if I lost one of these kids, what would I do? And I can't imagine, bro. I can almost be like, I can see why you did what, like,
yeah.
because
I mean, when it first happened, I thought about doing way worse than that. I mean, I
Right.
thought about going and joining him, but how could I do that to my family after enduring the loss of my parents, their grandchild, my sisters, their
yeah,
nephew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that was the thing.
You weren't the only one grieving.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
definitely not the only one grieving, and how would they have dealt with that?
Right.
That was the thing that always kind of brought me back from going that route.
Yeah.
My
That's-
family, my family's been my biggest support, man. They never, like I said, they didn't let me move in with them when I was an addict.
They made
Yeah.
you stand up for yourself.
They made me made me be accountable for what was going
Right.
on. But at the same time, they're my biggest support, man. If it wasn't for my family, there's no way I would be where I am today.
I mean, they came to the bar to try to,
They did,
Try to
man,
get you out,
and
man.
I sent them on their way.
and then
but
they had to stand up and give tough love. Huh?
absolutely, yeah.
that's awesome.
They are. I couldn't ask for a better family, man. They've been there through all the bullshit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is, man. Really is. Some people aren't fortunate like that. And
No.
I am.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
really cool.
And if you don't think you have somebody to talk to, like, there are places. There's
Right.
a clinic.
There's
We're actually
phones,
going to be
yep.
talking here soon.
Mhm.
There is a clinic in Elkhorn that will not turn anybody away from mental health
Mhm.
stuff. We're going to be talking to their founders here real soon.
Oh, that's cool, man.
So it's there are resources to reach out if you're in that dark
no
place.
matter what your situation is.
So, sometimes if you don't, some people are in a dark enough place that you're not seeing your kids, you're not seeing
Oh,
your family,
absolutely.
and all this in your head.
Yeah.
It can be so dark that you
Oh.
don't see the good things,
Yeah.
and sometimes you just need that conversation or something to be like, the right words can pull you out of that place.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
just talking to someone, and it could be just for a couple seconds, but talking to someone, having that interaction with someone
Mhm.
can just swing you a different way, just a
Yeah.
little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
even if it's just a little bit.
There was a time where I was in a shitty position and sitting in my camper watching TV, and my brother had called me and had an hour conversation and had no idea where I was mentally, but like
Right.
that was one of those conversations that I can remember that I was like, yep, that changed the directions
Change
of
the
things.
direction of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a good friend of mine, Nick Scriber. He did that for me once, years and years ago. I was in a really dark place one night, and I was ready to go do something that definitely would have altered the path of my life forever. And he come in, and I don't even remember what the hell he said, but whatever he said snapped me out of it. And I went in, laid down, went to bed that night, and I woke up the next morning, called him, and was like, "Bro, I don't know what you said to me last night, but you saved my life, and probably some other people too." It was a really bad place to be in, and like you said, man, he had no idea that he was intervening
Right.
in what was about to happen, but he did, and
Yep.
changed-
Just that
changed.
phone call.
Yeah,
That's what that is. I know that phone call has been there for me,
Mhm.
so that's why I am so hardcore.
Yeah.
About
Definitely.
let's make this call, let's
Yeah.
shoot that text.
Yeah.
Even just the people that I'm like, nah, he's good, he's solid. I
Mhm.
still send the hey, love you, bro.
Mhm.
Hope you're doing
For
sure,
good.
man, for
You know,
sure.
just
It's
because
just-
we'll put Robin Williams.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Right.
bring him up,
Right.
man. Like, yeah, people, a lot of people are really good at masking that stuff, and you never know where somebody's at.
Yeah.
I kind of have that conversation with my guys at work a lot too. I'm like, you guys are in a hostile environment all the time. I was
Right.
like, when you come here, treat each other with respect. You know what I mean? Like we work as a team. Let's act like a team.
Yeah.
And I think that's big for those guys too, is to be part of something.
Right.
And like be part of a team instead of just this individual battle that they've been fighting their whole lives.
Yeah. No,
It's really cool to bring everybody together.
that group kind of
Yeah.
recovery
Yeah, then
group.
everybody kind of we are a team.
Well, and that's the thing about this table here. Normally when everybody's here, we all have different things that we're awesome at, and we all bring different things to the conversation, and it's having that camaraderie of that group of guys. If Danny don't know it, Rich might know it, or
Mhm.
Steve might know it, and just
Yeah.
or have the idea or the way to help.
Absolutely.
So having somebody that you can talk to, a group of guys, or even if it's somebody you work with, just to get right.
Or even if you're feeling bad one day, go hit an AA meeting. That helped me a lot. When I first got out, I was doing AA every day, at least one meeting every single day,
Wow.
and that kept me going in the right direction. And then after 6 months, and I was going maybe 3 or 4 meetings a week, and then it's kind of tapered off. I still go, here and there, kind of sporadically. I try to get around town and hit different meetings, meet different people, type of stuff. But AA helped me tremendously. It's not
Well-
something that I die hard or anything, but it's a great program.
There are those people that you have to do the program.
Yeah,
You have to.
yeah.
And, I,
There
and I am
definitely
I am
are.
glad you didn't bring that.
No, no. Yeah, it's a great program. Take what helps you, leave the rest.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of questionable things being said in those rooms at times, because there's no sort of filter or guideline what you have to say in those rooms, So it gets a little hairy at times. But just take what you can, leave the rest there.
Yeah, and get it.
It's always there. There's like 150 AA meetings a day in Omaha.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of meetings a week in Omaha.
and talk about it, get it out.
Yeah. That's a good thing about AA is you go there and nobody knows you.
Yeah.
So you can say whatever the hell you want to say, crazy stuff, and nobody's going to look at you different.
Yeah, they're all there to listen and
Yeah.
back to just trying to get it out.
Yeah.
They all know it helps.
Yeah. It's a great program. Just take what you want, leave the rest.
Yeah.
People are kind of scared of AA. They're like, oh, it's a religious thing, or it's God, or this, that. No, it's not.
It's those preconceived notions
Yeah.
that
Or they think it's like a cult thing or whatever. It's just a program to try to help people.
well, and some people don't want to go sit down and have that kind of like I have a problem with being told what to do
Mm-hmm.
by a therapist, by
Yeah.
my doctor,
Yep.
by
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a problem. And
Yeah.
So I can appreciate, like I used to do some therapy and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And I found myself trying to talk my way out of it, not necessarily doing what I needed to do. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it
Just-
wasn't working for me because I wasn't willing to work with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I kind of developed my own therapy here,
Mm-hmm.
but not, trying to, I don't know. You got to talk about it. I've
Yeah.
learned. I'm talking with my
Absolutely.
wife. I'm still bad at it, but I am making that effort too. And
Yeah.
one day I will stop folding things up and sticking them in a compartment, waiting for that wall to fall over.
Yeah. It's dangerous territory.
Hope you're standing in the doorway when the wall
Yeah.
falls.
And like I said, there's a lot of things I've learned to try to get out, but like the dog,
Yeah.
I have not dealt with that properly yet, and I know I haven't.
And there's no textbook on how to deal
No,
with that.
no.
Yeah.
There's no guidelines for that.
Yeah, back
Everyone's different.
Yeah.
to Neil, still dealing with that.
Yeah.
He's got a picture on the fridge I look at every day, and
I've worked with Neil. He was a good guy, man.
that one hit hard for our group of friends. He was the anchor for a bunch of people, and yeah, we miss you, buddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have a bunch else here, so
Yeah, I just anybody out there still struggling, man, call somebody, hit a meeting.
Yeah, just
shoot us. I
It's-
mean, you got to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Shoot me a message.
yeah.
Shoot us here a message at the
PM
studio.
me. I
We'll try to
Yeah.
help you if we can.
Absolutely, man.
We've
It's,
I
talked
don't-
about starting another podcast just to have people see if they want to,
Yeah.
message in or, do it from their place or whatever and talk. They ain't got to show their face, whatever they
Yeah,
want to
right, right.
yeah, kind of call
do.
in.
Kind of
deal.
TED Talk or something.
Yeah.
that or even Messenger whenever
Yeah.
that option.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So we'll see. I got a ton of ideas. I just haven't
Yeah.
put into, but I would like to try to help some people and
Absolutely,
while
man.
helping myself. And
Absolutely, yeah. That's kind of the whole deal, man. Is if I can help one person not have to go down the path I did, it helps me out a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and what it's all about, man, passing on the gift that I've received.
Well, keep having fun in life, dude. Keep
Absolutely.
helping
Sure.
those people trying to get
Definitely.
out of the system.
Yeah.
Keep
Yeah.
helping them and
Yep,
giving them a reason to fight a little bit. You know what I mean?
for sure.
So, well, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you
Absolutely.
being willing to come in here and put yourself out there.
Yes, sir.
You don't really. I don't feel comfortable calling people and being like, "Hey, bro, I know you got a story. Come tell it." You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, so I appreciate you reaching out to me and
For sure.
and allowing me to do this. I've been really concerned about just presenting it right,
Mhm.
and because this was important to me, and you
Yeah.
putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I don't really know what got into me that day. I was just like, I was watching something that you had posted, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. He's doing like a podcast deal, and I was like, you know what would be cool if I went on there and told my story,
Yeah.
kind of talked to a couple of my friends and family about it, and they're like, do it, man, do it, and that's when I shot you the message, and you're like, no, it sounds cool. So,
Yeah, no, and I had thought about reaching out to you and was
Yeah.
like, I just can't do it.
yeah, I mean, yeah, if it would be real awkward,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, dude, tell me about you. It's
Yeah,
just-
tell me about all the
So
fucked up stuff that's happened in your life. Yeah,
so yes, thank you for
Yeah.
reaching out and be, allowing us to do this and
Absolutely,
putting
man.
yourself out there. It is
Cool.
great, and I really do hope somebody takes a piece of it and
yeah.
tries to apply it to their
Yeah.
hopefully getting themselves sober. And,
Yeah. It's a great life, man.
yeah.
Great
Well,
life.
I'm telling you, dude, the smile on your face when you start
Yeah.
talking about dirt bikes is really dope.
I know,
You got
man.
a big ass smile. Bro.
Yeah. Dirt bikes there. It's my life, man. Love it.
That's
I'm
awesome.
just an old slow guy having fun.
Yeah, but the key is, dude, having fun.
You're having fun.
That's the deal.
Part of starting this was just to have fun, and
Yeah.
it's really kind of developed into more than that. And
Right.
yeah, here we are, dude. Let's
Real
both
cool.
keep having some fun.
Absolutely, man.
All right, bid. We'll get the button
Right.
here, and y'all have a good one.
Come and jump in the ride, hop on the bus. We gon' slide, be outside when we pick you up. Take you to a place where you can open up your mind. Say what you